Hello and welcome to the first episode of Goldstone Technologies Analytics video podcast. I'm super excited to be hosting this, where the primary objective is to bring forward the wealth of knowledge that Goldstone Technologies has gathered over the past decade, working with its customers of varying sizes and scale, domains and verticals, where we worked with them to adopt analytics in their organization and build a data culture. Throughout this podcast, we'll be sharing with you a lot of industry best practices, do's, don'ts, pitfalls, roadblocks, innovations, etc., that you will benefit from to drive the best strategy to implement your organization's analytical goals. I'm your host, Shaunak Vijay, and I'm hosting this right here from the headquarters of GTL, which is Hyderabad. Now, being a solutions engineer at GTL, I get to do what I love the most, which is providing a full stack analytical end-to-end experience to my customers so they could transform their business and become truly data-driven. In today's episode titled Data and Beyond 2021 in Retrospect and Trends That Will Shape Analytics in 2022, we are going to cover a quick introduction to Goldstone Technologies Limited and what we do as an organization. We're going to be looking at some of the trends we observed in 2021, which will actually be shaping the analytical trends in 2022 that we're going to be looking at. We also have a special guest joining us today whom I am excited to learn from, and we're also going to be looking at his experience working in a world-leading organization in analytics. I promise that we will keep it light and conversational so you could take away key learnings that could be implemented in your organization to achieve your analytical goals. So let me begin by giving you a quick introduction to GTL. We have been a public listed organization for the last 27 years, where one of our major lines of businesses has been BI and analytics. Here, our focus is on the value our clients get from our solutions and not just the solutions themselves. Now, before we look back to 2021 and talk about a few upcoming data trends which, if not invested in, might have you at a loss, let me invite our esteemed guest, none other than Mr. Prashant Momaya from Tableau. He is the Director of Solution Engineering for Tableau India and has 2 decades of experience helping organizations with his solution engineering, business intelligence, R&D across multiple departments, consulting and architecture, as well as product management. So thank you for being with us, Prashant. Welcome to the show, and it's an absolute pleasure to be hosting you today.
Hey, thank you very much, and thank you for having me. I wish us all the best for this.
So where are you joining us from, Prashant?
This is my one corner of our bedroom. We are all working from home, so welcome into my most intimate space.
So that's a pretty beautiful place that you have over there, Prashant. And we're well into 2022 right now, but 2021 proved to be a challenging year too for a lot of businesses and analytics as well.
Absolutely, and necessity is the mother of invention, right? 2020, when all this started, people started learning lessons from it, and the lessons learned in 2020 and they've moved us through into 2021, and no question, but first half of 2021 was littered with personal tragedies, but we are a stoic nation. We moved ahead, and you see innovations all around, whether it's food or whether it's fintech, right? Digital has become the norm, and all of digital is fundamentally about data. The use of data from the tactical perspective has truly come of age. This is the time when data and analytics has actually migrated out of boardrooms and executive suites to the people on the front line. Every worker has truly become a data worker.
That's absolutely true, Prashant. And I'm glad that Tableau continued to hold its ground and continue on its journey to help people see and understand data.
If you look at the frontline workers, right, these are people who are typically classified as non-technical, right? They are now starting to use data to run businesses. The user interface for data, how people access data, has become critical. And the ability to author well-designed analytical content that is intuitive, insightful, and quick to market is a central design principle of Tableau. We continue to see our customers push the boundaries with use cases in every aspect of their business, whether it's HR or it's supply chain. Adoption is getting broader and broader, and use cases are maturing all across our customer base.
That's pretty good to hear. And it was an exciting year for GTL too, with 80 plus new net logos, initiation of a partnership with 3 other modern data stack solutions, Fivetran, Kaivos, and Unscramble, along with so many other developments. But a common scenario we noticed, Prashant, throughout 2021 was that many organizations were looking to convert their data into information and that into insights. They were either aware of their data, where they were in their very early stages of data adoption with the likes of a few high-tech startups and small and medium businesses and mid-market segmentation of customers. Some were on an even higher scale where they were not only aware but were adopting a clear data strategy. Some were data mature, and a few of them were even data leading, where they had a strong organizational wide adoption and maturity of utilizing their data. So what do you think caused this sudden shift into these different categories and segmentation?
With the pandemic, everything looks like a sudden shift. But
Yeah.
and it may be in a certain cases, but data and analytics have been a key agenda item for every organization. You ask any managing director, any CEO, any CIO, data and analytics have been one of the top agenda items. Over the last couple of years, there's been increased urgency around them. Also, maturity is a nuanced term, and you observe substantial variations in use of data even within the so-called mature data-driven enterprises. Most business users, and this is what happened, right? Most business leaders looked at their overall business landscape and made decisions where they could create impact with data, and then made appropriate investments, not just in technology, by the way, right? Like technology investments tend to be the simplest thing of all, but investments in people and competency building, data literacy. I also believe that the uptick in cloud adoption that the pandemic brought in helped a lot to accelerate these changes. So analytics and data workloads are among the first to benefit from moving to the cloud. Something like an AWS offers hundreds of services for you to process data. So these, slowly and then suddenly is what we saw, but it is a shift that has been coming a long time.
So how do you think Tableau is coming together in helping achieve not only the dream of a citizen data scientist, but as something that's paramount in today's time, and also helping with data democratization in an organization?
Let me wax a little philosophical here, a little bit of philosophical license. When terms like data scientists and data analysts are put out, they can at times be a little intimidating, a little overwhelming. Uh, I prefer to look at it slightly differently. Businesses are run by people. They need to answer questions to be most productive and move themselves ahead. Uh, Questions such as what problem do I need to fix today? What customer should I call today? What order will be delayed? Etc. And the answers to those questions lie within the data in that organization. Uh, it's not possible for a centralized team to anticipate and have an answer ready to every question that comes up. The democratization comes from putting the power to ask questions and receive answers into the hands of the people who actually have questions. Right? It's very difficult for somebody sitting in IT to imagine, how a supply chain runs. But somebody who's sitting in supply chain knows what they're looking for. This requires consumer-grade interfaces, user experiences, and employees who are fluent with data, uh, who can interpret the results in context with their decision making and move ahead quickly. Right? That is the fundamental crux of what data literacy and how Tableau enables this.
Absolutely, Prashant. And even IDC has stated in one of their surveys that decision making becomes data driven when data is key to an organization and its employees' identity. And with about 175 zettabytes of data that's to be generated worldwide by 2025, organizations need to adopt an agile approach to managing their analytics environment, support employees in growing their analytics skills, and foster a community that builds and celebrates the data culture. One of the best things that we've seen while assisting our multiple customers with Tableau is that it helped them accelerate their digital transformation by evolving their data strategy. A huge success factor also was that the company could effectively establish a strong data culture where people were empowered to use data regardless of their skill level, all the way from a trainee analyst to even the C-level executives. Now, in our end-to-end analytics services, What other key areas do you think Tableau is focusing on to help an organization move from one level of being data aware to becoming a data literate organization?
I've been with Tableau a long time now, and our mission at Tableau has remained the same since our founding, to help people see and understand data. And you see this manifest in our platforms, whether it's the amazing Tableau desktop and prep builder where authors can explore data, answer ad hoc queries, or create compelling analytical content for others. And then you have Tableau Server and Tableau Online, where you can scale to allow governed access to data and analytics for tens of thousands of consumers. Uh, Augmenting user experiences with things such as, ask data for natural language or explain data for getting a deep understanding of the why. Uh, and now business science, which we recently released, that allows organizations to scale artificial intelligence and machine learning capability to areas that are not traditionally supported with data scientist type roles. We also focus on the process side with the Tableau blueprint and the amazing learning content that we have, for example, for data literacy out there. So it's a well-rounded approach. It's not just technology, right? The technology is in one place, which is very important, obviously, but there's also the process, there's also the education. All of it comes together and lets organizations move ahead on their journey.
So data literacy, like you mentioned, is a sought after professional skill and an increasingly necessary asset for people worldwide. And in our experience thus far, we have also come across a few hindrances organizations face, because of which they're not able to capitalize on opportunities in today's fast-paced markets. We have observed that they're still using legacy applications where there's a massive dependency on their IT teams for when they come to implement any changes on their own. It boils down to having to code, or it's a Herculean task for them. And this lack of a BI strategy as well, shaking hands with siloed data, completely overlooks the storytelling capabilities that the data has made it much harder for the organizations to adopt BI across. Right, and some of the things that we did to educate our existing customers and the prospects were to host industry specific webinars, participate in events, and offer free consulting hours to help adopt and implement the data strategy better and win with Tableau. Now, with 2022 now on the radar, Prashant, there are a lot of trends and technologies that are going to be cutting edge, and Tableau is yet again at the forefront of this development, which I absolutely love seeing. It's great to see that Tableau is accelerating its commitment to closing the data literacy gap and will help people grow valuable and inclusive businesses, making data-driven decisions and building careers with in-demand skills. That's pretty good. And the company estimates that this grows its current data education commitment by 200%, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, if you look at it, data has become fundamental not just to our businesses, but also to our social, political, and economic discourses. Look at every news feed that you have access to, every newspaper, every TV channel. The numbers are coming at you thick and fast. It is critical that we understand the numbers that are being used to make decisions, sometimes on our behalf, whether we like it or no. And those decisions affect us either directly or indirectly. Equality is one of our core values, and empowering our communities to participate in this discourse, in this decision making, is critical to an equitable future. And Salesforce and Tableau continue to invest in this because we this is about our stakeholders.
Well, the numbers do come at us from every direction, and this is why citizen data science will be an influential trend related to 2022. For those who missed hearing it in an earlier segment, it's defined as the collection and analysis of data relating to the natural world by members of the general public. This turns the general public into citizen data scientists, where they contribute to the research of a complex data initiative. And the best thing about it is that it can be a person who does not have a formal education background in business intelligence or analytics for that matter, right? And as the president of Tableau and CEO as well, Mark Nelson, rightly said, we are in the golden era of data and analytics. Organizations are seeing an unprecedented explosion in the availability of and access to data. Businesses know that they must tap into the power of data and stay agile and respond to the market's fast-paced demands, right? And for these businesses, success depends on training and enabling everyone in their organization to be able to pick up that mantle.
If one of the ways to look at it is data keeps growing. But the critical challenges that organizations face is on scaling the use of data. Right? Data is growing at a faster scale than organizations are able to deal with it. And it just goes beyond answering simple what happened type of questions. The value of answers to questions such as why this happened and what will happen next is huge. But the path to those answers is often difficult, right? And difficulty is not just maths. While maths is a part of it, but there's a ton of difficulty there. Last year, we introduced Tableau Business Science that reduces the barrier of entry for business users in getting them to ask those complex questions and analyze their answers via machine learning and stats. The answers are provided in a transparent manner so that there is trust built right from the beginning of the process. This means that the scarce and valuable data science talent that organizations have can focus on solving the hardest, highest impact problems while scaling the use of advanced analytics technologies to the many diverse problem sets that exist in other places where they do not have the capacity to focus.
And this actually empowers them in taking action on these insights while they're still relevant, right? And this is why right data analytics will surpass big data analytics as another key 2022 trend. Like we mentioned earlier, 175 zettabytes of data generated worldwide by 2025 is a pretty huge thing of its own. And it seems like an understatement while big data is creating a swamp that's both hard to utilize and leverage. So that is where we advise organizations to stay loose and open to the possibilities of new products that bring enough value to justify bringing them into your existing environment. We're helping them become ready for anything the market can provide with our full stack of products and services. Now, just like organizations can't read a book in the dark with a candlelight with big data, business users won't put up with IT's old and slow methodologies in which data is released as if it were chapters in a book. How, in your experience, has Tableau lit up previously unlit corners and deliver both brighter lights and the ability to have them when needed?
It is very easy to get blindsided by the technical side of stuff, right? There's so much data, and data is an automatic process today. Everything is digital, though there is going to be data. The most important concept in analytics is the ability, or rather the creativity to ask the right questions. Asking questions itself is a creative process, and currently only human beings seem to be capable of such thought. Right? And the machine does not ask why this is happening or why that is happening. Where it can do a little bit, but creativity is essentially a monopoly of human beings today. I don't know what will happen in the future, but at least for today, I can talk about it. No matter how much data and compute you have, how much tech you throw at the problem, it finally comes down to be able to ask the right questions. The right questions come from human beings because of our natural curiosity. And Tableau is built to support our curiosity, to explore data, to find out the most promising questions, and to answer for people who actually know the business. A developer building in isolation to waterfall IT methodology can be a first step to answer some fixed first level questions, but it is insufficient to drive the business to the next level.
And this is why I think that curiosity, inquiry, and critical thinking will be the key requirements for any future employment, as instead of focusing only on the final destination. Because then you're only able to enjoy the journey, as you never know what you might find along the road less traveled. Now, thirdly, we're also going to be looking at a rapid increase in data catalog and data discovery tools with a continuation of the data quality issue. Now, according to a 2022 State of Data Engineering survey, 23% of the respondents stated that their organizations don't use any data catalogs or data discovery tools, and the remaining 17% were uncertain if their organizations used any such tools. And it's clear that advanced data tools have gone from a perk to a standard procedure at many organizations. And adoption rates for data catalogs and discovery tools will continue to rise in 2022. Now, data lineage, which helps users visualize data workflows, will become even more important so that teams can keep track of how data has traveled from point A to point B, and if it's become garbled on the way, and you'll know. And data governance, which empowers users with tools and processes to manage visibility, compliance, and access permissions across all organization data, will also become a major priority, even for companies that don't define themselves as being a data first organization. And Tableau's inclusion of the Tableau Catalog, which addresses exactly including the data quality warnings, has been something we have been actively promoting as a part of the data management add-on. It integrates features like lineage, impact analysis, data dictionary, data quality warnings, and search into your Tableau applications, helping solve these problems differently from a standalone catalog. It focuses on both IT and the end user so that everyone using Tableau server or Tableau Online has more trust and visibility into the data, all the while promoting discoverability. So is that something that the data management add-on is something it's doing to empower its users?
When we talk about data culture, one of the things about data culture is people need to fundamentally have trust in the data they're working with. And trust comes from all the things you spoke about, knowing, for example, where the data was generated, how is that changed along the way, where all it is used. Providing people that journey of the data itself gives them the confidence, right? It provides everyone who uses the data with the confidence that the data means the same to all users, and that results in success. That results in success not just of one project or something like that, but a success of a culture, and that is very critical as we move ahead.
Absolutely. And the success will surely be ensured when everyone unites over a shared mission to improve their organization and themselves with the power of data. Now, these three trends, which are imperative to be invested in with Tableau, provide a vital reassessment of data-driven business transformation through a new lens. Now in 2022, everyone has gone digital. We all work from home, or we work from anywhere, frankly, and the need for speed and agility have risen to the surface for every part of the technology industry. And those things have played quite well with Tableau. And just like Francois Einstein, the CPO of Tableau, said that when we interact with a plethora of different domains and verticals, they're all about accelerating their transition from traditional to modern, accelerating their move to the cloud, and they often ponder about what they need for growth in the future. They know that what they had may not get them where they need to be, so many of the conversations are actually less about the tools per se and more about enablement for success in the future. And this strengthened the GTL advantage with our curated best practices and helped us identify three broad areas of focus that can facilitate a data-driven cultural shift at organizations. So a clear inclusive strategy, a tailored learning and development, and governed use of data are things that are very much imperative for that transformation. So how have your customer interactions ranged throughout the last year? Were they any similar to this?
So we have had plenty of customer stories, really interesting ones to talk about. And rather than me talk about them, I think we can link this somewhere in our later on, is to point our audience to the amazing session by Tata Steel, which is available on Salesforce Live, which they did last year. Building a data-driven organization requires more than technology. It requires changing mindsets, attitudes, habits. That is how Tata Steel has been building data culture across their company. And it's a beautiful story, and it is best listened to in their own words. We will link to this. Just go check it out.
And to all our viewers, we recommend you taking a look at that along with our wide range of customer stories available on our website about a plethora of domains and verticals that we have catered to. Now, the theme is to go broader and deeper. The core of Tableau is strong, and it's continuing to invest in the core to make analytics easier, more powerful, and continuing this journey around self-service analytics. It's also dramatically accelerating the pace of adoption. So one of the things it's also focusing on is collaborative analytics, how to bring analytics into the flow of business. There, a big theme will be around Slack. To stay on top of your data via Slack and being able to talk to your data via Slack, so that data becomes like a colleague who you can ask questions and get more answers. And I'm pretty intrigued about this Tableau and Slack integration actually.
Slack is really exciting, isn't it? Uh, imagine this. Imagine where most people work. Imagine where a lot of the white collar workers spend their time. It is likely in email, in chat applications. Communication is what makes us human, and we likely spend more time communicating than anything else during the day. The idea thus is to provide access to analytics in the flow of a person's work. The idea is to minimize the friction in access to relevant data in the flow of a conversation, to help collaborate, make shared decisions, share insights. Fundamentally, we are human, and we are going to talk to each other. And where do we talk to each other today? It's things like Slack. So getting those relevant insights at those places and being able to share them immediately is very fundamental to making a culture that is able to use data, because there is less friction.
So thank you for having given us your bundles of knowledge about Tableau and your experience in it so far. We very much look forward to collaborating with you later on as well, and with Tableau at the same time.
Thank you very much, Shaunak, and the entire GTL team for having me on this. It was amazing to go through so many different ideas along the way, and I hope this podcast of yours becomes one of the places where Indian companies can come and learn about all the different ideas that are flooding the space right now. So once again, thank you very much, and I wish you all the best.
So your data will grow and it will continue to grow, right? And then, like I mentioned, big data is just another step away for you. Now, organizations that effectively utilize data will continue to thrive, and organizations that don't will actually struggle to survive, right? And with the trends and areas that we have discussed till now, both in the 2021 in retrospect and the key analytical trends that will shape 2022, both of these have to be invested into in order for you to stay ahead of the market, be agile and be fast paced, right? And so much of what's happening right now is not just about you utilizing data on your own. It's about your teams and your users and even your C-level executives utilizing that data to help build that data culture in your organization, right? And we Goldstone Technologies here are here to help you, being a full stack data analytics, BI and IT services consulting firm. We have our curated best practices, best in class tech and skilled consultants to help you transform your business with the power of data, analytics and the cloud. Please contact us via the email address that's highlighted on your screen so that we can get in touch with you. Thank you so much for joining us today. We had a blast. And if you are having any questions whatsoever regarding today's episode or anything in general about data and analytics and BI, please contact us via the email address that's listed on your screen right now. Thank you.